What's up, Commanders fans? Today was day 3 of training camp, and Jaden Daniels was looking good as usual. We seen that his accuracy is still there, and today was one of those days we did not expect to come this early, but it came. This was one of those days where Jaden Daniels threw an interception. Everybody thought it wouldn't happen. Some people thought it would, and it happened. And the first person that intercepted the ball from Jaden Daniels was Michael Davis. And this is good for Michael Davis. And also, look, this is good for Jaden Daniels as well. This is one of those moments where he can do whatever. None of this stuff counts. It's off season, and this is time for him to get used to throwing to his wide receivers, to get used to playing against his defense, to get used to playing against guys like Bobby Wagner, Jeremy Chin, and even now, Michael Davis. He can't just sit up there and play these veterans like he played the last college team that he played for. Like he can't sit up there and play like he played at LSU. These are NFL players. These are guys that were the best of the best in their schools at one moment in time. And now they're in the NFL. And now he has to play at a different level. Now he has to elevate even higher than a Heisman Trophy. So he's in the NFL, and now he's getting used to throwing, and he has to understand that these windows are a little bit tighter, and he has to get familiar with throwing interceptions because, one, I want him to throw all the interceptions he can in practice. I want him to throw all the interceptions he can in preseason, because when it comes time to perform on week 1 against the Buccaneers, if that be the time where he starts, I want him to perform at his best. I want him to be used to playing against certain defenses. I want to get him familiar with certain formations. Like, and the guy that's in his locker room right now that is helping him on the other side of the field is none other than Bobby Wagner. And Jaden Daniels spoke about Bobby Wagner in his presser today. And he basically said that Bobby Wagner told him that he knew when he had changed up the offense that he knew exactly what he was about to do because of the formation they had. And that's one of those things that Jaden Daniels is going to benefit from. And a lot of people are talking about all the ways that he can benefit from Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, Brian Robinson, Terry McLaurin. And it's like we all are forgetting who he's truly going to benefit from on the other side. And think about it. I've said it many times that this defense is going to benefit Jaden. And it's just like when Robert Griffin came into the league and he had to go up against a guy like London Fletcher on the other side. He said that was a lot for him. And that's going to be the same thing that's going on with Jaden Daniels right now. And just because he threw an interception doesn't mean it's the end of the world. He has to learn. He has to develop. These are things that he has to recreate. He has to come up with different ways of making certain throws because now it's an adjustment. It's a learning curve for him. So he's back at the bottom, and it no longer does his Heisman Trophy matter anymore. No longer does his last year at LSU matter anymore. None of it matters. Now he has to perform at a higher level. And he was talking about how he was using VR, and that was something that helped him be successful in becoming a Heisman Trophy winner last season. So he's been using it, and he said he's still trying to find time to use it as often as he did before. But, now that this is a job for him, he has to dedicate more time to it and learning the playbook. And he said he's allowed some of the other quarterbacks in the quarterback room to use it, to get used to using it, the VR. And I enjoy that. I enjoy hearing them say that. And, that's just showing that he's bonding with his friends. And, also Mike Sanderstill, he's shown that him, Sam Hartman, they're becoming best friends. And, not just Malik Neighbors, who he had. We knew about his best friend being Malik Neighbors, but also we know about his best friend being Brandon Ayuk. But now he's starting to form relationships here, and I'm happy for him. I really am. And That's something you want to see early on. You want him to get comfortable with the guys that's on his team. And the guys look like they're getting comfortable with him. And honestly, we all know that this is his team. We do. So there's no doubt in our mind that he's going to be a starter this year. But are Dan Quinn and Adam Peters trying to push him out there? Is Cliff Kingsbury trying to push him out there? No. They're trying to take their time. They're trying to spoon feed him because once this team becomes yours, it's yours. And you have to play at a high level. And just because you're a rookie, you think other teams are going to go easy on us? No. So it's something that he needs to get familiar with. And once he understands the basics of the NFL and the playbook and what Cliff Kingsbury understands about him and what Adam Peters and honestly, it's not even it has nothing to do with them two. You know, it's really on Jaden. It's really on Jaden. If Jaden feels comfortable with taking over, he will. And of course, even if he was thrusted out there, I'm sure he would try his best to perform at his best. So let's not underestimate him, but let's also understand that this is a learning curve and he's no longer at the top of the league anymore. He's at the bottom now. And this is new. And some people try to make it seem like just because you had a phenomenal college year that you're going to have a phenomenal NFL rookie year. No, it's nothing. It all goes on that player. It all goes on what he thinks about, what he understands, what he absorbs, his interactions, because you know that also plays a role in how he plays. If guys are not liking him, of course, that's going to come off in your game and the way you play. So I like that everybody's treating him with care, you know. And of course, it's the NFL. You know, we rough and tough. But you still got to build relationships with people. And people have to, in some way, shape, or form, like you. Have to show off some type of something for you to, you know, for you to play at your best or be your best. Because understand, if people don't want you on the team, that's like, well, you know, we got Jaden Daniels, but we end up letting Sam Hartman play, right, over Marcus Mariota and over Jaden Daniels and Jeff Driscoll, right? Imagine if we came out week one and allowed Sam Hartman to play. Think about how many boos they would get. You know why? Because everybody don't want him to be there. Of course, they're happy he's on the team, but they're not rooting for him. So imagine what that does to your game. That puts you down, and it's hard to perform at a high level when you have people not feeling good about you. So that's also in the locker room. We can apply that to the locker room. We can hope for the best, and we can hope for the best all around. And that's one of those things that we really are appreciative of our teammates on our team, that they like Jaden Daniels. And I haven't heard any bad about him. And, you know, just to think about before Jaden Daniels was drafted, and a lot of guys were trying to figure out, like, why would Dan Quinn and Adam Peters have all these rookies show up and, you know, have them all have a chill day and not really feel like it's an interview or not dedicate time to interview Jaden by himself. Like, why would you do that, right? And in the beginning, when you don't have all the answers and you're just hearing rumors and you're hearing the little pieces and bits, you really don't understand it. You're like, no, that's crazy. Why would they do that? But when time went on and we heard more about it, we was like, whoa, okay, yeah, no, I get why they did that. And that's one reason why I feel like we should trust in what Dan Quinn and Adam Peters are doing. If they feel like Jaden Daniels is not ready yet, let them feel that way, because understand, when they feel that he's ready, he's going to be ready. And that's one thing. You don't want somebody just to throw you out there because you're not going to be your best. I want you to get me when I'm at my best. And of course, I'm not going to know everything in the world, but I'm at my best. I'm the best I'm going to be, and I feel comfortable. And I want to go out there and show out what I can do, my talents, and I want to take it up to another notch. And so back to what I was saying, when before he was even drafted, he had visited the New York Giants. And this was a reason why they did what they did. The Commanders did what they did. This is why the Commanders had all those rookies, because in that interview he had with I think it was Brian Dable, and Brian Dable was just, you know, all right, you know, he basically said, cut the shit. Let me know what it is. Do you want to be here? Do you want to be a Giants player or not? You know, and Jaden Daniels was like, yeah. And you know when your voice get all high like that, you know you're lying. But it's like it was one of those things. It's just like when you caught off guard, honestly, that's certain things you do. When you caught off guard, like why are you coming straight out to me like that and saying and forcing me to answer this in a strict and straightforward manner. Sometimes it's cool to answer like that, but it was just we can see how much pressure they were putting on him. And this is something that Dan Quinn and Adam Peters are familiar with because they've been on teams that had to interview players before they drafted them. And they understand how it is. It's nerve-wracking and it's uncomfortable. So I'm glad Jaden Daniels decided to come here and decided to reconsider how he felt about the Commanders before he came here, and had a publicist speak out about his feelings and how he felt about the Commanders, and I like that, you know, because sometimes you could have got off to the wrong. You can get off to the wrong, you know, you can get off to the wrong step, you know, and really put out the wrong energy sometimes, and it's minor things you can do. So I'm glad that Jaden fixed that, and I'm glad that Jaden is in our building because honestly, I think he's much more comfortable here. And before he came here, of course, there were people in his head talking about, you know, the Commanders are terrible, a terrible franchise to go to, and stuff like that. But think about it: people with the first, second, and third, you know, people in the early picks of the draft, most times are the worst teams. So you really have no control, but you know, I'm glad he accepted his fate and understood that, hey, we have you for the second pick. If you don't want to go to us, you're still going to go to a terrible team that was terrible last season. So the Patriots would have been next. And you see what they got. They got Drake May, and Drake May has been sitting down behind Jacoby Brissett. So, of course, I'm sure Jaden Daniels was more advanced than Jacoby Brissett and maybe more advanced than Drake May. But were we going to give him up? No. And you see that we didn't. We got him. But I think Jaden probably don't know this, but he probably don't know that this was the best out of all three positions to go to. Because I guarantee you now, the Patriots is not going to give that pick up. They were going to take a quarterback as well. So if we didn't take you, the Patriots is going to take you. And the Bears, I'm glad you didn't go there because I'm just thinking about how he has it sweet. Caleb Williams has just him. You see what I'm saying? They want him to be the starter. They got rid of Justin Fields just so they can get him and he can start day one, A1. And it was just like, that's a lot of pressure, even though he was already putting that pressure on himself to be a starter. But for Jaden, it's comfortable. You know, you got Marcus Mariota in front of you, and your coaches are not pushing you to the forefront. They understand that, hey, this year is not going to be phenomenal, but because you're a rookie, that, you know, let's take our time. Let's not fail at this. Let's understand that jobs are on the line. So us getting you and not passing up on Jaden Daniels was the best decision we could have done because it saved jobs. And I believe over the next 4 to 5 years, Jaden Daniels will still be here. And the reason I say that is because he's around a great foundation. And starting from the top to the bottom, he got guys that care about him, that are nurturing him, that are spoon-feeding him, and allowing him to take this team under his wing. And, of course, Marcus Mariota is here, but he knew before he got here what the deal was. We were having you come here so you can be a voice in the locker room as well for Jaden, along with the coaches. And this is the best move we could have made. And I'm glad that we're changing this system around. And I'm glad that Jaden Daniels is here, bruh. because I think he still doesn't even believe he's here. And he said he didn't realize it until he signed his contract that he still was here. So that this came true, that he came into the NFL. And I think we haven't doubted anything that we doubted. No, you know what? Let me be truthful. We have doubted some of the moves that they have made. But at the end of it, we were like, wow, no, that was a good move. And they have been making nothing. Adam Peters and Dan Quinn and Josh Harris have been making great moves on everything. Josh Harris firing people, hiring people. Adam Peters going out to get rid of players and going to get more players and great players at that in free agency. And then not just that, going out to get people who are hungry. And then not just that, him and Adam Peters and Dan Quinn going out to get players in the draft that are guys that are studs, you know? And when we finally got our grade for how we did on the draft, we were at the top of the league. So what are we doubting? If Jaden Daniels is not, if Jaden Daniels is not ready, that don't mean he ain't gonna be ready when it's time. You see what I'm saying? So just give him some time to develop, throw them interceptions, make failures, because it's only making them better. And you have guys not just on his side, but on the other side of the field, playing against him, coaching him up, talking to him, building bonds with him, building relationships, allowing him to get extra tips to understand why he's not at his best yet. And I'm loving it, man. And I'm just glad that we have him on our team. And let me know how y'all feel about Jaden Daniels. Do you feel like he's making the right moves? Do you feel like he is getting better? And do you feel like he's going to be a starter come week 1? Do you think he's going to be ready come week 1? And with all the joint practices that we have one against the Jets, and we have one against the Miami Dolphins. So this is time. This is all the time he's going to need to get himself together. And of course, we would love to let him play behind a quarterback for the whole entire year and be second stream, you know. But it's like, yo, do you really want that? Because players don't understand how it feels to be benched. And, you know, just being benched or not playing for a year, some of these players are not used to stuff like that. So that is nerve-wracking. And some players are. But it's just like, yo, I haven't done that in so long, and you don't know what that does to your game until you're that person that's out there sitting on the bench. You don't know how that makes you rusty and dusty. So I'd rather him stay up to par knowing that he's going to be a starter. And let me know what y'all think, and I'm out.